Hello, my name's Vic. Welcome to first of my video vlogs, I believe they're called. As you can tell, I'm an amateur to this. The reason I'm making this video and particularly doing this channel is to share experience of moving from regular lifestyle of living in a house to living on board a narrowboat, and the reasons why I've done that, and hopefully some of it will help some people that may be thinking of doing the same thing, or just if you're curious about what it's like to do this, hopefully it'll help you. So why did move on to a narrowboat? So I've been on a narrowboat now for approximately, well, it's about a month now. Something that I was inspired to do by channels such as B and Theo's indie projects. Love that channel. Cruising the Cut, obviously. Robbie Cunningham. The list goes on, really. Oh, and Narrowboat Experience. Can't forget those girls. They're ace. And lots of tiny home living channels. And I guess the guy who started it all off, who unfortunately is no longer on Narrowboat, is sort of interesting. I think he was one of the first ones. So sat in front of the TV for hours on a Friday night. Yeah, I'd got nothing better to do. Just watching these guys and the fact that they're travelling round and just living their dream, really, getting to see different places you probably wouldn't ordinarily see if you live in a house, unless you want to spend a fortune on a big holiday, that is. So I currently have a full-time job. I love my job, love my career. I can't emphasize enough how much I do love my career. So at the moment I've got no plans in the short to medium term of that changing, unless somebody changes it for me. So I've got no intentions of that happening. The thing I did it for was purely to have some more freedom when I come home from work, when I've got time off from work, to actually go and do some exploring, do something different. Fortunately, due to the fact that Christmas is nearly upon us, the weather ain't been that great, so there hasn't been much opportunity to take the boat out and do any of that. And to be honest, I'm quite worried about it. We haven't actually taken the boat out on our own yet, so that will be a video that I'll do for you guys, and I am quite nervous about that, it has to be said. So at the moment, based on a marina. It's a great marina, great facilities, reasonably priced. We're quite fortunate that at the end of our pontoon we've got electric hookup, water, all the facilities here that you'd need. So the biggest thing we had to do was downsize. So there was about 8 weeks once we knew the sale of the house had gone through, downsizing and really getting rid of stuff we didn't need anymore. I think you always think that you need it when you're buying it, and when it boils down to it and you think, how much has that enhanced my life? Chances are not very much. So I've also got, as you can probably see from the hoodie here, I'm into Volkswagens as well. So I'll be doing some videos also of my camper van conversion. So I've had loads of Volkswagens over the years, and I've currently got a VW T6, which is a combi at the moment, and the plan is that will be converted. It's got a bed in at the moment. There's a bed in the back so you can sleep in it, and I've got all the stuff. I did have a fully converted T5 before that, and I am going to convert that in the spring to I wouldn't say fully converted, because I don't want a pop top anymore. Didn't like that at all. I mean, each to their own, but for me personally, there's just the two of us and the dog. So the need for pop tops not really there, and I just found it a hassle, particularly if you're camping in Wales or on the coast in Cornwall, and there's really high winds, you're just constantly worrying, is the roof going to blow off? So for me personally, that's an ideal breaker, so I won't be having one. So that'll bring the cost down of converting it relatively cheap. I've seen some units I want to do something quite retro, quite funky with that. But if I can just take you back to the Narrowboat for a second. So we've got a 60-foot Narrowboat. It was converted to a narrowboat like living interior by Apex Narrowboats in 2001. But the actual steel structure of the narrowboat was by a company called Coalcraft, which are based in Warwick, and they're still there, and they're quite reputable company from what I gather reading on the forums and speaking to people that live on narrowboats. They're quite highly regarded, and I think, you know, the boat that we've bought's great. It depends on your preference. You probably don't want a 60-foot narrowboat. You probably want something a bit smaller. That's okay. Or you might want something a bit bigger and a bit more elaborate than what we've perhaps gone for. So I will be doing a video that shows you the narrowboat inside, outside, and obviously when we first take it on the water, as I said before. But yeah, so I really want to capture with this channel some adventures that we have, both in this country and abroad eventually. And it's going to follow a very similar format to those that have gone before me. As I said earlier, all the people that I've taken inspiration from over the last couple of years that have encouraged me to take this massive step of getting rid of the house and moving on to a boat. But one of my biggest influences for doing this was my next door neighbour. Was 56. She was 56 at the start of this year, and back in June she got diagnosed with cancer. It was everywhere, unfortunately, and she lost her battle with cancer 2 weekends ago. And Freya was a great person, really great person, originally from Iceland. She's a great person to know, and to see that happen to her, as I know it's happened to lots and lots of people, it really makes you take stock of what you're doing with your life and what's important. And I don't have children. I don't want children. Again, that's a personal decision. I think that if you've got children, maybe you might feel a bit different to what I'm going to say next. But I suddenly thought, who am I buying this house for? So I'll be 56 when I've finished paying my mortgage. I mean, I'm 38 now, so I'll be 56, and I stood there and I looked back at the house and suddenly went, I'm not sure I want it. I'm not sure that I actually need it or want it, and what's it actually giving me? I mean, most important thing, right, is roof over your head, so somewhere dry, somewhere to sleep, and somewhere where you can cook, you know, and keep your clothes. But other than that, what was it actually enhancing? I don't think it was. So yeah, so the decision was made that we would put the house on the market. House, it's okay, I can hear some wind. It's very windy today. The house sold in 48 hours, and we were lucky enough, because the area we lived in, it was a nice area, that we had the equity within the property to purchase the boat outright, which was great because we've got no mortgage now. But as I said, it wasn't a purely financial reason. After a month living on the narrowboat, I have noticed stuff like electricity. I mean, we're constantly plugged to the landline at the moment, and we bought an electricity card for £12 from the chandlery put that in on day one of being here. We are now a couple of days over that month, and I've still got like £6 left of electricity, and we've charged iPhones, we've run the TV, we've got PlayStation still, so we've got some of the mod cons that you go in a house, and yeah, it doesn't seem to go down very much, which is great. I mean, we've also got, as you'll see when I do the tour of the boat, we've also got solar panels on the roof, which generate obviously some power, and it'll be great when we're eventually cruising round. So yeah, there's just not the massive cost associated to it. Even when you pay your mooring fees for the whole year, it's not massive. So yeah, it's great. I mean, getting rid of your Virgin Media or your Sky is a tricky one, but we've got stuff like, I mean, I've already said I used to watch YouTube a lot, still do, and we've got digital TV, and it's great. It's great. The only thing I did have a problem with when we first moved in, that was a real pain, was lack of phone signal. So even though I've got the mobile broadband, which again I'll do a video on that, the actual signal in the boat was non-existent. You literally had to just stand on the stern or at the front in the cratch cover, and it was just nightmare. So I had to rectify that, so I had to pay 140 quid for a signal booster, which, touch wood, does actually help quite a lot and will help. I have on-call responsibilities as part of my job, so yeah, it'll help. So that's that for this episode. Just an intro really, and hopefully the videos will be more interesting and insightful as we go along, and hopefully we'll have a bit of fun along the way. And remember, life is about the journey and not the destination, so keep living the dream, and I'll see you on the next